Succulent collectors know this feeling. You think you've seen it all, and then some plant pops up that looks like it came straight from a sci-fi movie, and suddenly you need it on your shelf. These rare varieties aren't just pretty. Most of them survived harsh deserts, rocky cliffs, and ridiculously tough conditions, which is why they grow slower and look way more unique than your everyday succulents. A lot of these plants stay compact for years, making them perfect for small apartments or crowded plant corners. Some even change colors depending on stress, sunlight, or temperature, which feels like they have their own mood ring built in. And trust me, collectors chase them for good reason, because many of these species only flower once in a while, sometimes after years of patience. What makes them stand out is how unpredictable their growth patterns can be. Tight rosettes, see-through leaves, geometric ribs, or fuzzy stems that don't look real. You don't need to be a botanist to enjoy these. Just a little curiosity and a bright window can take you a long way. So if you're ready to see the plants everyone secretly hopes to find before anyone else does, let's jump into the rare succulents collectors can't stop obsessing over. Ruby necklace is one of those rare succulents that instantly grabs attention with its trailing stems that turn deep ruby purple when it gets plenty of sunlight, making it a must-have for collectors who love bold colors. It grows surprisingly fast for a rare succulent, and its plump, bean-shaped leaves store enough water to keep it happy even if you forget to water for a week or two, which is why many growers say it's both beautiful and low maintenance. Give it bright light, let the soil dry completely between waterings, and use a gritty mix, and you'll see the colors intensify to that rich jewel tone shade everyone chases. What makes it even more special is how it blooms. Tiny daisy-like yellow flowers pop up randomly throughout the year, making the whole plant look like a piece of living jewelry. One of the reasons collectors always keep this one near a sunny window. String of buttons stands out as a rare collectible succulent because of its stacked, geometric leaves that spiral upward like a tiny architectural tower, and the tighter the light, the sharper those red-edged margins get. Collectors love it because it grows steadily without taking over your space, storing enough moisture in its leaves to tolerate missed waterings while still keeping that crisp shape. It thrives in bright light, gritty soil, and a full dry out between waterings, which helps the colors deepen and keeps the stems compact instead of stretching. What makes it especially appealing is how older plants start branching on their own, creating these quirky, sculptural clusters that look like mini alien landscapes, something every succulent lover wants in their collection. Queen Victoria Agave is one of those rare succulents that instantly tells you why collectors go crazy for it. Its perfectly symmetrical rosette looks hand-drawn, with each thick leaf outlined by crisp white markings that stay sharp for decades. This slow-growing agave is tough as nails, storing plenty of water in its compact leaves, so it handles long dry spells without losing its shape or color. Give it bright light, a well-draining mix, and deep but infrequent watering, and it rewards you with that iconic tight form that never gets messy or stretched. What really makes it a collector favorite is its lifespan and patience. It grows slowly, keeps its sculptural look for years, and eventually sends up a massive bloom spike once in its lifetime, something that turns this already prized plant into a true event for anyone lucky enough to own it. Monkey's tail is one of the most sought-after rare succulents because it looks almost unreal, with long, trailing stems covered in soft, white, fuzzy spines that feel more like a plush toy than a cactus. Collectors love it because it grows faster than most fuzzy species, and those stems can reach several feet long when it gets strong light and a dry, airy environment. It prefers bright sun, deep but infrequent watering, and a gritty cactus mix that dries quickly, which helps the hairs stay clean and the plant maintain its thick, healthy growth. What really makes it a showstopper is its blooming habit. Huge, bright red flowers pop out along the furry stems, creating this wild contrast that makes every collector feel like they're growing something straight out of a fantasy world. Echeveria Topsy Turvy earns its spot on every collector's rare list with its twisted, spoon-shaped leaves that curl upward in a way no other Echeveria quite does, giving it that sculpted, wavy rosette people instantly recognize. It's surprisingly drought-tolerant thanks to its thick leaves, holding enough moisture to go a week or two without water while still keeping that tight, dramatic shape. All it really wants is bright light, fast-draining soil, and a full dry-out between waterings to avoid stretching and to deepen its cool blue-gray color. What makes it extra appealing is how easily it produces offsets and how boldly it blooms, sending up tall stalks with coral orange flowers that look like tiny lanterns, turning this already unique plant into a centerpiece collectors proudly show off. Lithops are at the top of every rare succulent collector's wish list because they genuinely look like living stones. a survival trick that helps them blend into rocky deserts where they get just a few inches of rain a year. Each plant is made of two thick, water-storing leaves fused together, allowing them to survive months without watering, which is why overwatering, not underwatering, is the only real danger. They thrive in bright light, a gritty mineral soil, and long dry periods, and they even go through a yearly cycle where a brand new plant grows inside the old one, slowly replacing it. The real magic happens when they bloom. Huge, daisy-like flowers burst out of the seam between the leaf pairs, a moment collectors wait all year for because it turns these tiny camouflaged stones into something unexpectedly stunning. Adromischus Cristatus, often called the crinkle leaf plant, is a rare succulent collectors adore for its thick, chunky leaves topped with those wavy, ruffled edges that look almost hand-sculpted. It stores plenty of water in each leaf, letting it go longer between waterings than most houseplants, and it stays compact, making it perfect for shelves or small displays. Give it bright and direct light, a gritty soil mix, and a full dry out between waterings, and it keeps its crisp shape while developing those silvery textures on the leaf surface that collectors love. What makes it especially intriguing is how its quirky growth pattern changes with age. Older plants branch out into these whimsical, gnome-like clusters that look like they belong in a miniature desert landscape, which is exactly why enthusiasts hunt for it. Haworthia Cooperi is a must-have rare succulent because those translucent, bubble-like leaves look like they're filled with water and sunlight, giving the whole plant a crystal or jelly effect that collectors can't resist. Each leaf acts like a little reservoir, storing moisture so well that it can go a week or more without watering, as long as you let the soil dry completely. It thrives in bright and direct light, gritty soil, and gentle, spaced-out watering, which helps keep those see-through tips glowing instead of turning opaque. What makes it even more special is how the rosettes multiply over time, slowly forming clusters that look like a group of tiny glass marbles in the soil, a feature that makes every collector want at least one in their rare species lineup. Sunrise succulent is a collector favorite because its plump, pointed leaves shift between pink, yellow, and soft green depending on light and temperature, giving it those sunrise-like gradients that look painted on. It stores a ton of water in each leaf, making it forgiving if you skip watering for a week or two, as long as it's grown in a fast-draining mix that fully dries out. Bright light brings out its best colors, and a gritty soil blend helps keep the rosette tight and compact instead of stretching. What collectors really love is how the plant changes through the seasons. Cool nights intensify the pink tones, warm days pull out more yellow, and those color shifts make it feel like a living palette that looks different almost every month. Euphorbia Obesa is one of those rare succulents every collector wants because it looks like a perfectly round, striped little sphere, almost like a living baseball, and it keeps that shape for years without getting messy or stretched. Its thick, ribbed body stores an incredible amount of water, which is why it can go weeks between waterings as long as it's in a gritty soil mix that dries out fast. It loves bright and direct light or gentle sun, steady warmth, and very minimal watering, which helps maintain its clean symmetry and the subtle banded patterns that make it so recognizable. What makes it even more fascinating is that it develops tiny, almost hidden flowers depending on whether it's a male or female plant, and the whole species is now protected in the wild, so owning a healthy nursery-grown one feels like holding a rare piece of living history that collectors truly appreciate. Painted Lady is a standout rare succulent because its long, pointed leaves form a tight rosette that shifts between soft greens, warm yellows, and blush pink tips when exposed to bright light, giving it that hand-painted look collectors obsess over. It stores plenty of moisture in its thick foliage, so it handles dry spells easily as long as the soil is gritty and allowed to fully dry between waterings. With strong sunlight, the colors deepen and the rosette stays compact, while cooler nights bring out even richer pink edges, making it one of those plants that rewards good care with dramatic color changes. What really sets it apart is its seasonal bloom cycle, where tall stalks rise above the rosette carrying clusters of warm-toned flowers, turning this already artistic plant into a true centerpiece every collector wants to show off. Astrophytum Asterias is one of the most coveted rare succulents because its perfectly round, flat body looks almost like a tiny sea urchin, complete with dotted white speckles and clean geometric ribs that make it look more designed than grown. It stores water deeply in its thick tissue, allowing it to handle long dry periods as long as it's in a fast-draining mineral mix that stays airy. With bright light, minimal watering, and warm temperatures, it keeps its flawless shape and develops even more of those signature white flecks collectors love. The real highlight is its bloom. Huge, bright yellow flowers with orange centers burst from the top in summer, creating a striking contrast against the plant's smooth, button-like body. One of the reasons serious collectors consider this species an absolute prize. Pachyphytum Compactum is a rare succulent collectors love because its chunky, angular leaves look like faceted stones, with natural lines and patterns that make each rosette look carved rather than grown. Those thick leaves store a huge amount of water, letting it go a week or two without attention as long as the soil is gritty and dries out completely between waterings. It thrives in bright light, which helps tighten the rosette and bring out its signature frosty blue-gray tones, while too little light makes it stretch and lose that geometric look collectors want. What really sets it apart is how it changes with age. Older rosettes develop deeper etching across the leaf surfaces, and the plant eventually sends up tall, arching bloom stalks with soft pink flowers, turning this already sculptural species into a centerpiece every succulent enthusiast wants in their collection. And that wraps up our list of rare succulents every collector dreams of owning, each one with its own wild shape, color shift, or survival trick that makes it feel more like art than a plant. Whether you're just getting into the hobby or you're already hunting for the next showstopper, these varieties can take your collection from ordinary to something people actually stop and stare at. If you enjoyed hanging out and discovering these beauties with me, make sure to hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment telling me which one you're adding to your wish list next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next plant deep dive.